On today's show, we've got this is back. The On Today's Show bit's back, Dos. Do you like that?
Well,
I didn't
you
even
keep
know it
changing the song every week.
Keep them guessing. Keep them on their toes.
We don't have a consistent sort of entrance to our pod, do we?
Well, no, we don't. It's like an 80-20 ratio. The upbeat song versus the classic, right? Yep.
And now you're doing a little thing before.
Yeah, but I did this for a while, and it's back.
Okay.
On today's show, the AFC Over Under. Dos, we did NFC last week, AFC this week. We've got strength of schedule, Hawley. Now, Dos has been studying that all week. You can doze off for about 5 minutes, 8 minutes then when he's talking.
Oh, I'll be done.
There's fantasy impacts, though.
Oh, that's
so
true.
He needs to pay attention.
Oh, joke of the week. I do have something to do.
Joke of the
with
week, you've got that. We've got Bright or Bleak for some random players to pull
yes.
out of the packet of cards, and we'll get to that
Ripping packs.
a little bit later, but let's get going. We're back in Muscle Catch Studios. It's another week of the Outback Quarterback podcast. Curtis DeBoy, Chris Hall, and Matt Maidman with you. And boys, big news because you've just witnessed the air conditioner being fixed. Even though it's freezing cold. It's freezing cold. We fixed it, and it's about, 2 weeks too late, Dos?
And now we've all got 3 layers on in here.
Well, not Hawley. He's got a T-shirt
For
on.
some reason, I just didn't bring a jumper up.
Mate, it is freezing
I am pretty
today.
cold.
Is that because you were forcibly made to remove your jacket during our
Last time?
during our draft
I had
episode?
PTSD from trying to keep warm.
Well, look, I make the odd wrong call, right? And that was wrong. That was wrong. I was wrong to make you take off your LA Lakers jacket during. Was that the mock draft episode?
It was.
Yeah. I mean, we've had 400 views on that. Imagine the views we would have had if he kept that jacket on. Millions.
Laker Nation would have been all over it.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
he's got Pat's Nation.
Yeah, you do have an ever revolving wardrobe of sporting clothes, don't you?
I'm a fan of sport, Curtis.
Oh, yeah.
And the Patriots.
Really? That's incredible insight we're gaining into Chris Hall's personality. Dos, look, it's been a big week for you. The full schedule came out, the full NFL schedule. I know it doesn't get much more exciting than that, so how you going? What was that? What was that hand
What do
gesture?
you think it was?
All he's just.
As Doss's pornography, the schedule.
The algorithm's not going to like the word pornography mentioned in the first 3 minutes of the show.
Tell me it's not Doss.
Oh, well, I like the NFL schedule. I find
You
it
wanna
interesting.
deny
I thought he was going to say, I had a look.
I don't even know where to go with that, really.
Well,
But
schedule, excited.
Release for everyone. Schedule release videos, which were hilarious for some teams. The Chargers one was very funny. Colts was fun.
I actually didn't watch any.
Well,
I didn't need to because
your Chiefs were
because you
boring
messaged
as
me.
usual.
You messaged me all the jokes in the WhatsApp, so I didn't need to watch it.
There's a lot more that I didn't actually do. So go back and have a look.
You know, there was one really big surprise of schedule week, and that was a screenshot that you sent me, Dos, and that was Mike North, your boy, the VP of scheduling, or whatever he is. I thought he would be like a 63-year-old dude with short cropped grey hair. He's like a 40-something dude with a man bun.
Yep, beard.
I did not see that coming at all. And that's not the kind of guy that you're normally, for want of a better word, into, Dos.
I get along with everybody.
You get along with it, but he's not your type. You want a straight up and down like
And I've been trying
business
to
shirt
find
operator.
because he's been on a number of podcasts in the US over the last. Soon as the schedule comes out, the last week. So,
Mate, this is his Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, it is, and I've been looking
Other than the actual Super Bowl.
everywhere to try and find his contact details, LinkedIn.
What a creep.
We need to find it. I want him on.
Yeah.
I want him to come
Do you
on
think?
the pod.
Do you think he'd come on the pod?
I think he would.
No,
he
he
should.
would.
Mike,
they
why
have
not?
an extensive network of terrible podcasts. He'll spend all of his time on those button down.
Well,
Yeah.
this is true. So, Mike, if you're listening, watching on YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
subscribe,
Yeah, Mike.
follow, like on Spotify.
You too, the 98% of people watching this who haven't subscribed yet.
Hawley, make sure you do it as well on your own little
I
phone.
think I have.
Yeah.
I think I was third to subscribe.
Third. Who
What
was
was
first
you?
and second?
Probably you and Kathy.
No, I think Dos would have.
Doss would have.
I'm pretty sure Dos subscribed before I did. I think he subscribed before it even existed.
You know, I was just thinking earlier.
What?
The NFL for you and I, it's like watching. You know when you watch a movie.
I thought he was going to go down the pornography route again.
No. you know when you watch a movie for the second and third time.
Yep.
And it's kind of a bit ruined. You know what's going to happen. That's what the NFL is like for me, and I think for you as well. Because by the time we wake up in the morning, Dos has already told us everything that's gone on overnight during the day. All of the schedules that were released, all the funny videos. So now we go and watch them like, I already knew that was going to happen. Oh, I already heard about that.
I already knew Mike North had a man bun.
already knew Mike North had a man bun.
No, you're our Adam Schefter, and that's why we love you, Dos. Would you prefer to be called the Adam Schefter of the show or the Ian Rappaport of the show? You know what? If we got a picture, if we got a picture of Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and merged them, it would make Dos.
Me?
It's exactly the cross between the two. Look at him. I'm going to pull that up on the YouTube. I'm going to put a Schefter on one shoulder and a Rappaport on the other.
Okay.
Would you grow a man bun to be more like Mike North? if he said, "I'll come on the podcast, but I want Dos to have a man bun."
I don't know if I could grow a man. Kurt's closer to getting a man bun than what I am. He's got
Got a mullet.
It's all sort of puffed up there on
No,
top.
I'm not having a good
The
day with it
mullet.
today. I'm not having a good day with it.
You got on the blow dryer through it today?
Not today. No, the mistake I made today was I got till about 1 o'clock without having put anything in my hair, and then it was all dry, and then I put product in, and you can't wrestle it, Hawley. You know that. Once it's set in its ways, you can't wrestle a mane like this. It's out of control.
Must be. Yeah, got out of bed at 12 o'clock by the sounds, Dos.
Well, no.
Took him all morning to work out how he'd going to introduce the podcast. That was the activity for today.
Yeah. How much did you prep for today's show with your 0 segments? You literally have nothing to do.
I don't even have a document open. I have my joke.
Just go home.
I have my joke on the screen ready to go for about 40 minutes time, and that's it.
Well,
you could have given him the headlines.
he can do the joke
Given me
now.
something. I looked at it and I was like, there's nothing to do.
Well, there you go.
Hawley can rip the pack open
Yeah,
for the cards.
it's like a job for a
And draw.
kid.
Just
There you
admin
go, buddy.
tasks.
You open this packet of cards for us. All right. Well, look, no, I know you mock me, but I am a businessman, Hawley. All right, I'm a businessman. And what does every good businessman need?
Time off.
More time off. No, he needs a briefcase.
Briefcase.
Right, so I've got a few things in my little goodie bag here, Dos. This is a genuine bit of business kit.
Make sure you get it the right way around. Obviously, you use it often.
Oh, businessman over here. I'm glad that's on YouTube. It's like me grabbing a paint tin and putting it upside down and trying to open it.
I've seen you do that. All right, I've got my paper. I've got my mug. A good businessman always needs a mug.
Oh, QB3 mug.
I'm surprised it's not full of.
Isn't that? I don't think it's that funny.
Dos has lost it. Yeah, show them what mug I've got in my briefcase. It's a mug of myself, QB3.
QB3
Drinking
That's
from a
just
mug.
crying.
drinking. Yeah, I am.
He's gone red and he's
Well, I'm
crying.
surprised it's not full of shredded newspaper. Or
Well, there was a
Paper
newspaper.
clips.
There was a newspaper. We've got the cards from Sports Card World.
They're
Sports
important.
Card World Adelaide. Look them up on
Should-
Instagram.
Should we get on the show and do that?
Hey,
Get on with the show and do it, or?
well, this is a new creative way of introducing our sponsors.
Ah.
See? Yeah.
Oh, is there a new sponsor in the briefcase?
Well, no,
Oh, I thought he was announcing
should we
something.
Just
keep
the
ruining the
product.
gag? This is
Sorry.
it's meant to be seamless.
Oh, he didn't warn. He should have warned us about it.
Can't you just roll with something for once rather than
Oh,
pointing
it's
out all the flaws and everything
Happens. Oh,
constantly?
mate, I've spent hours prepping this show. All I needed was 1 minute.
Well,
Just
this is
a
the pack
word
of cards
warning.
Hawley's got to open. Dos is crying again. Sports Card World Adelaide.
I'm exhausted from my afternoon of
Yeah. We'll do that segment in a second.
typing. Open them now.
And no, not yet.
Oh, okay.
And what else does a businessman have in his briefcase? He has
Beard oil.
his beard oil and beard shampoo from Jericho Australia, jerichoaustralia.com. How much do they get off with the discount code Outback? Dos?
15%.
15% off at jerichoaustralia.com. Beard oils, beard shampoos, starting to grow it back a little bit. You too, Hawley. So get that going. And the colognes are still in the mail. I spoke to Josh today. They're on their way. So-
Fantastic.
All right, that's the briefcase. We'll review if that stays in for next week. We got some headlines. All right, boys, let's get this show back on track.
All right, let's dial in.
Lock in. Davis Clark style. All right. 2 headlines tonight. Not a lot going on, but the headlines that came out are relatively significant. Dos. Brock Purdy. He got the bag, as you said on our Instagram.
Yeah.
San Francisco 49ers quarterback. 5 years, $265 million extension, $181 million of which is guaranteed. And you copped it a little on our socials, Dos. Speaking of our boy Outdoor Ginger copping some heat on socials this week, you also copped it for saying it was a good contract for the 49ers. So why don't you delve into it and tell us why you think it's a good contract?
$165 million is guaranteed through the first three seasons of it, per Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network, who broke the news. Full no trade clause as well for Brock Purdy. So there's 7 other quarterbacks that also have the no trade clause.
Can you explain that very briefly for newbies?
He can't get traded.
He can't get traded unless he approves it. There you go.
So it puts all the power in
Which
his hands. It's good for the quarterback, not for the club.
So he joins Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins, all with full no trade clauses in their contracts. And obviously they got George Kittle's done a couple of weeks ago we spoke about, and Fred Warner will be the next one. That's very close. My sources tell me.
I didn't realize Kirk had that in his contract as well.
That's what's made it a little more difficult.
Which
for
is why you
Atlanta.
haven't just seen him
What a
being
screw up.
traded off to, say, Pittsburgh or Cleveland yet.
So
Now-
that would point it in direction of better for Brock Purdy than it is for the 49ers. So what makes it a good contract for San Fran?
Well, it's pretty quiet. There wasn't a lot of drama around this one, which we've seen previously with 49ers contract extensions lasting throughout the whole of the US summer, going all the way through to training camp, and it didn't reach a holdout. And it's not a top of market deal, which is what I liked about it, because it didn't need to be. It didn't need to be over 60 million, which is currently what Dak Prescott is getting with the contract he signed at the start of last season. 7th highest paid quarterback by average annual value, puts him around the same money as Tua Tagovailoa and Jared Goff, which I think that's where, Goff's probably a little better, but I think that's probably about right. Owner Jed York said, or believes, that Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Do you agree with that, Hawley?
I'd probably have to deep dive into the
Instinct.
No.
Okay, continue.
So his first full season as a starter, he was 4th in MVP voting. Last season didn't go quite as well. But look, I think it's a good contract. 1, because it's not top of market. 2, the guaranteed money ends after the 3rd year, despite it being a 5-year contract extension. So if they want to restructure, they can. They're locked in quarterback for the foreseeable future. And I understand the theory. The commentary around that we had on our Instagram, he's just a mid quarterback. Well, okay, but you need to pay him. You need to have a quarterback. So otherwise he plays this year.
You're not going to get him for less.
On a 5th year option. And then what do you do at the end of the next season? Then he's a free agent and just walks.
Yeah.
Or actually, to keep him, you probably have to pay him more this time next year, given that the salary cap has gone up $60 million in the last 2 off seasons.
And there's no guarantee you get anybody better, because we've said it a few times on the show. An average or slightly above average quarterback is extremely valuable in the league, because most that come through the system are far worse than that.
Remember, 3 first-round draft picks for Trey Lance to trade up.
Oh my gosh.
Remember, that
Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant.
Finding Brock Purdy, or the last pick of the 2020 the draft in the following year, saved John Lynch, general manager, and Kyle Shanahan their job.
Absolutely it did.
Because otherwise, they'd be in a world of hurt. Brock Purdy gives them a chance to still be a good football team.
Yep, that's true.
That's why I like this contract.
I like it. Next bit of news, the owners, the franchise owners, to vote next week, DOS, on playoff seeding as an issue, and on the tush push ban. Which of these...
And if players are to be eligible for the 2028 Olympics flag football.
Oh, that's a good
Participate,
one.
which would be, I think, 1 player per team.
I like that.
It would be the
Will that get up, you think?
reasoning. I don't know actually on that one. I'm not sure. I think it might.
Okay.
Given that it's
Because
But there'd be
owners
some-
would want to say they're got an Olympic gold
There'd be
medalist.
some
maybe?
huge injury concerns.
yeah, there'd be some significant. There might be some clauses around it. I think.
Imagine
Do
if the
you
US
think
doesn't
Chiefs-
win.
Do you think,
Can you imagine?
do you think the Chiefs want Patty Mahomes to lead the flag football team, do an ACL out for the rest of the year?
No, but I'm not sure they would mind if their 3rd string cornerback or 8th string cornerback plays. You know, so it depends
that's
who they're
right.
going to put up.
They're still going to win the Olympics, and they're still winning the gold medal, aren't they?
That's right.
Anyway.
What about the tush push, Dos? They
Well,
get up?
well, I think that's well. It was an even vote, wasn't it, at the March meeting?
Yep.
So now they've got some more data, and that'll be all presented next week, which we are looking forward to. But the one that I think has got more people interested in, that sort of was spoken about early, which was the playoff seeding, and is gaining more momentum as it gets closer to next week's meeting. And this was the proposal that the Detroit Lions put forward, and it would the playoff seeding would be strictly based off your record. So if you win your division, you will still get a seed. That doesn't change, right? You'll still get a seed, and then
you'll make playoffs.
And you make the playoffs. Yeah, the 3 wild card. Now, if you're a division winner and you have the same record as a wild card team, Hawley, then if you win your division, that's a tiebreaker.
Right.
So head to head, right?
Okay.
So the logic behind this is more around competitive equity, providing excitement and competition in late season games, and rewarding the best performing teams from the regular season.
That sounded like a statement from the NFL. Who did you read that from?
That was Detroit's proposal to the NFL.
Right.
And this is per Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated. I just read out that quote. So what the NFL don't like, and what the owners don't like, mainly the NFL, is with Week 18, we get the backups come in.
Yes.
And we saw it a bit last season. That's where nobody watches. It's bad for TV. They can only do so much flexing with the schedule to try and minimize that. The stadiums are empty, and because of that, that costs dollars, and it always comes down to dollars. So the slide that Detroit presented in the current system, based on how it finished last year, remember there was 4 teams: the Texans, the Rams, Philly. Who was the other one? No, they were the 3 teams: Texans, Rams, Philly. Those 3 teams. So Houston went into Week 18 locked into the 4th seed.
Yeah.
In this new system, they would have been either 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th would have been possibilities. The Rams were locked into 3 or the 4 in the NFC, depending on where they were. Same thing, 4, 5, 6, or 7 was a possibility. And then Philly, they went into that last game, I think it was against the Giants by memory, and they played all their backups. They were set as a number 2 seed, couldn't move. But if that was a loss, then they could have gone to the 3rd seed in this adjusted system. And all those 3 teams rested starters in that Week 18 game and then won the following week.
So what you're saying is that the Super Bowl last year is not legitimate. We should just wipe it from the record?
I'm not saying it's not legitimate, but I'm saying that this is that strategy of what those teams did. The NFL is looking at potentially changing to reward teams that have a very, very good regular season. And if you're an NFC South winner, for example, and win 9 games, then you would be a 7th seed.
Correct. The Tampa 8-9 season where they made playoffs or whatever it was. Yeah, 9 and 8.
And that Minnesota winning 14 games last year.
No, that makes sense. I think it makes. Do you like it?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll be back. Over under, boys. AFC.
Ooh, I get to talk now.
You do get to talk. Oh, I threw it to you then and you gave us a very detailed response. All right, let's get going. AFC East. What I'll do this time, just to mix it up from last week, I'll rattle through the over-unders that DOS has provided. Per MGM Las Vegas, is it still DOS? Very good. I'll rattle through all 4 teams in the division that we're going through, and then you guys can pick and choose and tell us where you want to go. So the AFC East, I'll do it in order. The Bills, their over-under for total wins in the regular season is 11.5. The Dolphins and the Pats are 8.5 each, and the Jets are 5.5. Holy, you're screwing up your face. Why don't you start?
I was surprised that the Jets were 8.5.
Jets aren't.
The Pats.
Your Pats.
The Pats.
Too high.
I'm a Pats boy, and that's 9 wins in the year.
You know what? I had the same thing. I said they'll improve, but it'd be slower than this.
It seems high, does it? 9 and 8?
It
I would
seems
expect, 4 wins last year. If they came through with 7, I thought 8 would be if they went 8 and 9, I'd be happy. I don't expect them to play playoffs, but a 9 and 8 record, that's pretty close to playoffs.
Yeah, I've gone the under there. I've banged the under for the Pats. I've also banged the under for the Dolphins and for the Jets, actually.
So have I.
Oh, those 3?
Yeah, the Patriots seemed high for me. I mean, it's based on their favourable schedule that New England have.
Is it easiest in the league or second easiest?
It is the
one of the
30. Second. You're right, behind the 49ers.
We're giving things away for the strength of schedule segment.
I'm trying to pull it back from the 35-minute chat we've got coming up.
It is. No, they've got a favourable run with
chat or lecture
their opponents. So Miami, I'm off Miami.
Oh yeah, I think we all are off Miami.
I'm all right with them still.
8.5. Are you going over for 8.5?
I'll take the over for Miami.
Really?
They had a horrible year last year, didn't they, Dos?
Yep.
Horrible year last year, Curt.
I know what you're doing.
Worse?
You're foreshadowing this and now going to say their win-loss record.
It was 8-9.
It could. Well, Tua did play most of the year last year, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but it couldn't have been a worse year.
Yes, it could have.
How?
Wait,
Tua might not have played.
Well, yeah, I suppose. We're
And
talking
they may have lost all the defensive veterans.
I'm
that
gonna-
they've lost, and Tyreek Hill maybe a year older.
I'm going to bring some positivity
Sure,
to
please.
the podcast and say that Tua plays the whole year. He's fit. He has a good year. They get a few things moving, and they end up with 10 wins.
Okay.
And then the Jets and Pats go under. Bills go over.
Yep, we've all got Bills going over.
Yep.
I'm done writing
Yeah.
off the Bills, especially in the regular season. I'll continue to do it in the playoffs.
Mafia.
The Mafia.
Just like you're written off Derrick Henry. And he's now, what, has he signed another 2 years? 20 million guaranteed?
Yeah, that was in the headlines, and Curt glossed over it.
Was it?
I was going to
Sorry.
put. I think it was because 2022, when we started the pod, you wrote him off and said Derrick Henry.
I didn't
is,
write him off that early. I wrote him off last year.
No, I think it was.
Find the
2022.
episode. Hey, find that receipt.
And every time I go back and find these things, we never speak about it on the pod.
because you never find them.
No, I do find them.
Rubbish. Well, it's complete nonsense.
Biggest contract for running back over the age of 30 for Derrick Henry.
Well done, Derek.
Well deserved too.
Oh, it is. I've always been a huge fan of the King. No, I am a fan of his. It's just I got a prediction wrong, and it'll haunt me forever.
Couple.
The AFC West. The Chiefs 11.5. The Chargers and the Broncos 9.5. So similar setup to the last division. And the Raiders 6.5. So Chiefs 11.5. Chargers, Broncos 9.5. Raiders 6.5. Where are we starting, Hawley?
Chiefs 11.5. I'm confident they'll cover that.
Really? I went under there.
AFC West is difficult this year.
It is.
Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos should all be very... Broncos... What were Broncos?
9.5.
I'll
Chargers
take that.
9.5.
I'll take 9.5 for the Broncos. Chargers. Geez, I want to take the over for the Chargers as well, but then that means I have to go unders for the Raiders.
Yeah, well, that was a hard one for me because I think they're a bad team. I don't think there's much there, but Geno and Genti gives a little bit of juice. Can that squeeze to set? When I say 7 wins for the Raiders, that feels too much. So I went under there. I went over for the Broncos and the Chargers.
So you've gone under for your Chiefs. You're thinking
Under for
11
Chiefs.
wins this season.
I think so. I think that's the number. Yeah, 11. They'll still make playoffs, maybe do some damage based on experience, but I don't know. I just think the magic dust is wearing off.
Do they win
They might-
do they win the AFC West then?
I don't know. I honestly think it's a 3-horse race. I'm always a little hesitant to back the Chargers just because of their history. Of,
Chiefs just win
not
so
delivering.
many regular season games, though.
I know, but I'm just trying to be realistic.
I mean,
I don't think they're as
of-
good as they were.
Of the 3 teams that were competitive in the AFC West last year, the Chiefs had the worst points against and the lowest points for. So their net point differential was the lowest out of the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos. So they did win a lot of close games last year. A lot of
There's a few of them.
a lot of
One possession
lot of
games.
black and white help probably got them over the line. Dos.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, sure. There was a bit
It's
of
an
that, but
absolute
then there was
NPC
also
take.
I just
there was-
wanted to put a little bit out there for Dos to rattle off now.
there was also the blocked field goal and against Denver and a few other.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know
games,
why I'm
but-
getting jabs. I just said they'd go for under 11.5.
And
But
after
I'm finding a reason for them to go over again because we said it last year. Good teams find a way to win, and they've consistently done that. So I'm still backing them to go over 11.5.
yeah, I think they'll win 12.
If
games.
Mahomes is fit and healthy, it's hard to see them going. I mean, not having double-digit wins, and that's 12 is pretty reasonable.
Dos, where did you sit in the AFC West?
Yeah, you got 3 teams here making the playoffs next season for mine, and Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, which was the same as last season.
Yep.
So I've gone the over for, I think, the Chargers, 10 wins. Broncos, I can see 10 wins. I think they're a better team than what they were. And the Raiders,
You keep talking, Dos. I'm just going to adjust Hawley's microphone here for a second.
oh, that's okay. No worries. And
Just pulling them.
And the Raiders, I've gone the under as well because I'm going to talk about it a bit later with their rest disparity and strength of schedule because they've been hammered by the schedule. And yeah, I just
Have
think, yeah, they got the hardest by a long way.
Well,
See,
they have to play the Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs twice. So straight off
that's
the bat,
true.
that's
true.
That's 0-6.
There's
See,
that.
I kept thinking, until you said about a similar team last week when you said they had a bad schedule, I kept thinking that this schedule was meant to be equitable and that there was equalization and stuff, but that's only a very tiny portion of it, isn't it? That's only like the irregular games. What are they called? The ones that aren't in the division, that aren't in the conference?
Well, you play teams that are obviously you play a division in the other conference.
Yeah.
Is one, and then you've got the third or fourth place schedule, and based on where you finished in the division. As
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
games.
Doesn't the third or fourth place schedule, so doesn't that insinuate that if you finish lower, therefore you will get some easier matchups?
There are
next
some
year?
easier ones, yeah.
Yeah, but there are some teams who have gotten really unlucky with the timing of who
But
they're playing.
The 49ers, for instance, finished bottom of their division last year,
Yeah.
for example, but are projected to have 10 wins. Well, their line is 10.5, I should say.
Yeah, I don't understand it. But so I may be missing something here, but when you say they've got the fourth placed schedule, what does that mean? Because to me, that makes it sound like their non-division games must be easier because they finished fourth, so they're getting easier games, no?
Yeah, well, they are. There are some easier games for them, yes.
But how do they have one of the hardest schedules in the league then?
The Raiders.
Yeah.
Now, the Raiders by strength of schedule,
I'm still mixing our
by
segments.
wins, they're about mid-pack,
Right.
18th. But
You're talking how far they travel and their rest
what I was going to
times
talk
and
about, their net rest
all the stuff
disparity.
Oh, the
All
net
the stu-
rest
all
disparity.
the stuff that doesn't actually matter.
Right, let's not.
Oh, okay,
we'll
we're going to
go
talk
into
about
it
that later.
We'll go.
But anyway, that's why I've gone the Raiders under.
Okay.
All right?
Not because of the quarterback or anything else. Actually, no.
Well, you know what? I like Gino, right? Solid
Brock
quarterback.
Bowers, Ashton.
Yeah, and that's where it stops.
Mm.
And look at the additions that they made
Crosby.
to their secondary this year. They've added almost nothing of, sounds horrible, worth or on-field starting ability in this offseason in all the holes, the areas that they had. Outside of Genty, we know that's exciting, but I don't think it's enough to carry a franchise. So anyway, we'll see how they go. AFC South, this is these lines are a little lower across the board. The Texans 9.5.
Take that.
Yeah, well, I think we're all taking that every
Yeah.
day of the week. We've got faith they'll bounce back. The Jags and the Colts 7.5, which was very interesting to me, and then the Titans 5.5. Hawley, where did you go here?
I would take the Colts under 7.5. Tennessee, I'm taking unders, and the Jags.
Jags I found the hardest.
Really? Yeah. Well,
The Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. thing is attractive, but whether or not that gets them over 7 wins, I'm not sure. I'll probably go unders with the Jags.
I'm going unders with the Jags. I have no faith in this team outside of a few key pieces, but we know that 2 or 3 pieces isn't enough. Hines Allen, we obviously like. Walker, I like now. I mean, he's come on really well. Brian Thomas Jr. we like, but there's so many question marks everywhere else, Doss, in this roster.
Yep.
And I know when we talk about it every week and it's a very long off season, I can tend to get in a rut of being overly negative on teams, and I've made up my mind about them early. Maybe this is a team that I've gone too hard on, same with Miami, don't know. But to me, it just feels like a team that I don't want to touch this year.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I went under for Jags as well. I think their ceiling's probably a 7-win team next season. Jags fans will probably kill me over it, but that's fine.
You mean the Jags fan out there?
No, Jags got a few fans in
2 or 3.
Duval.
Good one.
Thanks, mate. The Colts were harder for me.
Colts are harder. Just because that's a tricky situation because you just don't know what you're going to get with Anthony Richardson on a week-to-week basis. And if Daniel Jones comes in at any point, does that then give you a bump of a couple of wins?
So that is exactly my thinking. I wrote that I have Steichen to bounce back and Daniel Jones to bounce back in a mini Sam Darnold season. Not 14-3, but just showing that DJ is actually semi-competent when he's got a coaching structure or a roster around him that can give him a chance. I'm not going to say he'll be a world beater, but I don't know. I think they can go over 7.5 if Daniel Jones starts most of the season and gets some confidence back.
Is he a chance to win the starting job week 1? Is that what we're talking about?
I think he is.
Do you think-
Why wouldn't he be?
Well, they're talking like it's wide open and it's a pure competition, but if I was a Colts fan,
Anthony Richardson's starting week 1.
I want to see Richardson start
Yeah.
week 1. If Jones comes out and starts week 1, our franchise is in dire straits because it means the guy that we picked up, pick 3, he can't knock off Daniel Jones. And
No, but it doesn't mean your franchise is in dire straits. Why, if Daniel Jones is the better quarterback, why
Because
would
I
your
think-
franchise be in dire straits by playing him?
I think everyone looks at Daniel Jones as a quarterback at this level.
Sure.
Which means that Anthony Richardson must be a really, really bad quarterback if Daniel Jones is knocking him off to start week 1. I don't think it's going to be a competition where he knocks off Anthony Richardson, who's a good quarterback.
Sure, Jones has got definitely a lower ceiling, but he's also got a much higher floor. Well, maybe not a much higher floor, a slightly higher
No,
floor.
I think you're right in that sense.
I don't know. Jones,
I don't know.
Jones is bad. Is bad.
Jones has been bad as a starter. Since,
But again, like how much of that is the Giants effect? It's hard to tell, isn't it?
yeah, well, there's a bit of that too. It was pick 4, sorry, Hawley. I
Pick
agree
4.
with you. Pick 3, you were, pick 4 on that draft.
It's interesting.
So
Really hard team.
Colts, I went the over. I think they'll get 8 wins.
All right.
And
yeah,
Titans, I went the under. I think they're a 5-win team again.
So you went Texans over, Jags under, Colts over, Titans under.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I landed. What did you do for Titans, Hawley? 5.5?
Titans under, Houston over.
Yep.
Colts under, Jags under.
Okay.
Texans have to win more than 9 games.
Oh, they have
They're
to.
a 10-win team.
Well, they were
There's
10
just too much talent.
If you want to compare it again to last year, they were a 10-win team last year, and they had they had bad luck last year.
And a bad O-line. My concern, and we've said it
Is still probably
30,000 times, that they haven't improved.
But again, you look at the AFC
let's
South
see.
and you think, all right, they have to beat the Colts twice, have to beat the Jags twice, have to beat the Titans twice, don't they?
Well, maybe I have to.
Or you'd
I think
expect them.
you'd be disappointed with anything less than 5 out of 6 there.
Most people expected that last year, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people had the Texans winning 13, 14 games last year.
That's probably why they got themselves to 10, because the AFC South wasn't super competitive.
And division games are always a little harder than they look on paper.
They're always tricky with the Colts away is always a tricky game for them. And anyway, what are we up to now?
Speaking of
AFC
tricky,
North.
the AFC North.
Oh.
Now, what a division this is. Can we just acknowledge how much entertainment the AFC North has given
If
us?
Deshaun Watson was fit and playing well, this would be any 4 teams could win the Super Bowl.
That's true. Didn't we?
Maybe not the Steelers.
Wasn't there a year?
So Watson from like 7 years ago.
Exactly.
2 years ago when we were picking all 4 teams in the AFC North to make playoffs when they just traded for Watson.
Yeah.
But we've got the Ravens at 11.5. We've got the Bengals at 9.5. We've got the Steelers at 8.5. We've got the Browns at 5.5. You said, Dos, that some have dropped this to 4.5.
Yeah.
What are we rolling with here? 5.5?
We'll keep it 5.5 at the moment, but there's a few
Well, in that case,
markets
it's
that have
under,
dropped
innit?
it to 4.5.
Okay. Let's start from the bottom up. Browns, I think under.
I'm going under. I have no faith in the Browns.
I'm
this
gonna
season.
take 'em
Sorry,
for the
Browns
over.
fans.
You going to take
Yeah,
over?
I'm
Hall?
going to take them for the over.
I don't mind
There's
it.
been that much negativity surrounding them the last couple of years. Something eventually has to go right for them.
I don't mind it. I mean, I went the under as well, but you know I'm a Browns sympathizer. It's just that when we go through these exercises, the lowest lines are generally, this is probably as low as it gets, right? 5.5?
4.5.
4.5.
Hmm.
And in most seasons, there are multiple 3-win teams. So we do, a fair few of these teams have to bang the under for
You only have to look at
5.5.
last season.
Well, exactly right. So as much as I think, maybe it's not as bad as they say, I'm still pretty sure that the Browns are one of those teams.
If Joe Flacco was to start the whole year, what does their record look like?
7-10.
You reckon? I don't even think it's that good.
Yeah,
I'm still thinking it's a 5-win team.
probably right. You're probably right.
You're backing a 40-year-old Joe Flacco to play all season and get them.
Oh, I'm just saying
set-
if.
Oh,
in
I'm
a
still saying
situation that
5
he did.
wins.
But I mean, a 38-year-old Joe Flacco won a playoff, didn't he?
Mm.
So it's not that crazy.
Didn't play the whole season though.
No, true. That's true. No, look, I think it's under, Dos. I'm with you here. The Steelers, I've gone under because
They didn't win a playoff game.
with Flacco a couple of years ago.
They got smacked by Houston, didn't they, in the
What-
first round?
Oh, they made playoffs. Did
They
they?
made playoffs. They didn't win one.
Oh, maybe you're right. And your memory's better with this stuff.
It was 4-1, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
So 5 games. Let's just pump the brakes on Joe Flacco.
Just a question. Settle down.
They got
Steelers.
and then they got stomped 45-14 in the playoff game.
All right,
against
you made your
Houston.
point.
You're
I got it
welcome.
wrong.
I just put it out there. They haven't go. I just asked a question.
How
I didn't
dare
say
you.
they were making the playoffs with Joe Flacco.
How dare you pose a hypothetical on this show?
That's
You
right.
know it's facts and nothing else.
Sorry,
That's
this
right.
is the Doss's show
Jeez.
today.
This is not for
No.
discussion. Steelers, Dos. You better get this right, otherwise we're going to be all over you like dogs on a piece of meat. 8.5. Over or under and why?
This will be the first season for
Right.
Mike Tomlin where he doesn't have a winning season.
And if it's not, then he is a Hall of Fame coach tomorrow.
I mean, he's still going to be a Hall of Fame coach anyway. But
Yeah, but sorry, Curt.
I mean,
Let's just all bang the mics while we're at it.
Mate,
You give it a hit.
no,
Dos.
I'm not doing that. Mason Rudolph starting week 1, maybe. They've botched this offseason with quarterbacks.
They
I don't
have,
know.
they have.
They have completely
Is Rodgers
messed it up.
What is happening? Is Rodgers coming or not? I don't know what's
Why
going on.
isn't he? Why isn't he?
I don't know.
What's holding it up?
Why does it have to be so hard with Rodgers?
But
Everything is
it
so
the-
difficult.
Is it
Watch him
them or
sign
is it
to
the Steelers? Not.
What do you think?
How can the Steelers be happy with Mason Rudolph?
If
Well, they
Eugenie
got Will
Bouchard
Howard.
was not happy, then Mike Tomlin's not happy either.
They got Will Howard.
Oh, sorry.
Defense will be as good as they always have
Stand
been
corrected.
in Pittsburgh, but it's right now at time of recording, it's an under for me. And
I
you know
think
what?
so.
Even with Aaron Rodgers coming in, I still think it's an 8-win team at
How's
best.
DK Metcalf feeling at the moment?
I think he's
He's
feeling like he made a
rich,
mistake.
obviously,
Yeah, money
but-
aside,
Otherwise, he'd be pretty upset, wouldn't he?
do you remember that interview that DK Metcalf gave? I think it was with Shannon Sharp, maybe.
Go somewhere
Where-
warm.
Hey?
Did he say he wants to go somewhere warm?
No, not that one.
Same?
Maybe he did. Someone did. Can't remember. But he said that all he eats because I think Sharp asked him, "How do you get that physique?" Because he's a tank. He goes, "Oh, what do you eat?" He goes, "Oh, I just basically eat two or three bags of candy a day," and that was it. And he insisted that's all he ate. So he's a liar too. Not only has he made a bad decision going to Pittsburgh, he's a liar.
Well, hey. maybe-
DK, if that's true,
maybe
I want,
that's what
I
he
want
eats.
receipts. What a ridiculous.
I want DK to come on the pod and run through his.
Please. More
his
than
meal
welcome.
board. By the way, did you see that Caleb Williams is on the Tom Brady diet? Which, if you go through that, is basically
No mushrooms, no tomatoes, no coffee.
no coffee, no milk, no.
Oh, is this just the meat diet? Is that what it is?
No,
no
it's
red meat.
Very healthy diet.
What is he eating?
I don't actually know.
Oh, it was there. It was.
I think it's
ele-
salmon and kale.
Oh, no.
Could Tom
just
Brady get more boring? Could that man be more boring? For a guy who's
Avocado.
achieved what he's achieved.
Avocados
It
at
wasn't- it
breakfast,
wasn't much.
electrolyte and protein
Yeah.
Cool.
smoothies. For a
Good on you,
snack.
Tom. Have fun, mate. Gee whiz, he's really letting his hair down post-career, isn't he?
Well,
Salmon and kale.
pay a little bit of respect.
He
to
ate
it.
that. He had the avocado tequila that one time after the Super Bowl, and he got drunk and he threw the trophy to Gronk on the boat. Remember that?
I
He got
remember.
absolutely off of his face, and he thought, "I'm never having anything unhealthy ever."
The
again."
greatest to ever do it, and Kurt.
He is boring. Change
Kurt's
my
just-
mind on that. What is not boring about him? Sporting achievements, yes, that's one thing. But his personality, he is such a sap. What is not boring about Tom Brady?
Oh, I don't know him personally, but
Well,
at
but we
least
have
he's
a
not
pretty wide
at least
range
not a
of stuff.
Flog like your mate down in Kansas.
You mean Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the flog?
Chiefs? Mahomes.
What has he done?
A little flopping flog.
That sounded like a swear word, but it was clean.
It was
Ca-
clean.
calling
Talking,
someone-
talking about Mahomes, you seen Britney's latest additions?
What has she done?
What
What does she do? Oh gosh. Oh,
I haven't seen him, but
No, I haven't seen it.
in a dress, I suppose.
3720. Take out.
Oh, you have to take that out. It's a cosmetic procedure. Like someone saying someone had a nose job, but it's on their chest.
He's a poet, isn't he? He's a poet. Yeah, maybe I can leave that in. Who cares? It's
All
the
right.
off season. All right.
So what are you going with the Steelers,
Is anyone
fellas?
listening still?
Steelers.
We're still on the
Everyone's
Steelers.
tuned out by this stage,
No,
haven't they?
no, they just tuned right back in. Steelers under.
Yeah.
Paulie?
Yeah,
same.
under. Cincy over, Ravens over.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool.
Cincy over. Oh, we all went over for Cincy. I thought
What-
someone might. go
What,
down
what
there.
was Cincy's line?
9.5.
Mm.
They can't start
go.
like they did last year, surely.
They had 9 and 8 last year.
9-8 last year.
Yep.
Yeah, they
Cool.
can't be worse.
right.
Ravens, never doubt them in the regular season.
All right. Is that
Just
the
like
show?
the Bills.
Is that the show?
No,
Joke of
we
the
got
week?
more to come.
No, we don't.
When we get towards the 40-minute mark, Hawley just starts to tune out. He gets legitimately disappointed that there's still more show
Well,
to
I
come.
start looking at the time, then how long it takes to get home, what time I'll be eating.
Well, you said you're getting KFC on the way home.
No, I'm not getting KFC on the way home.
I reckon he is.
Let's rip
Popcorn
the pack
chicken go bucket.
Let's rip
Oh,
the
yeah,
pack
yeah,
of cards.
Yeah,
open.
Sports Card
Come
World.
on.
Rip it
Alright,
open.
I'll do
Come
it.
on. All right, so this is Bright or Bleak, our new segment thanks to Sports Card World. The legends in Regent Arcade in Adelaide. They got everything you need. Pokemon, sports cards, all that sort of stuff.
NBA.
Follow them on Sports Card World Adelaide
Watch him-
Instagram.
If you pull an auto,
It's not an auto.
I
It's
can see a shiny one.
That's just the packet, mate. Send them a message, a DM on Instagram. Follow them, Sports Card World Adelaide. Send them a DM, say you're listening to the show, and you heard them on there. Right, now, Bright or Bleak, we've opened the packet. Hawley's got it. He's going to distribute the cards one by one, and we have to choose, predict, whoever's on the card, is it a bright year ahead or a bleak year ahead? Hit us, Hawley.
Thus, you get the first one. Xavier Gibson.
Where is he now? Is he still at the Jets, Gibson?
Xavier Gibson.
Xavier Gibson. He did have a walk-off kick. Was it a kick return touchdown?
Yeah, an OT and the
Yep.
Bills. That was the Aaron
still at the
Rodgers
Jets?
debut.
He's still at the Jets. But he's probably wide
That was
receiver
the
4.
Rodgers Achilles game.
It was. That was 2 years ago then.
Yeah, given the Jets are going under this year.
What, financially?
Yeah, no, financially they're doing all right. Bleak.
Bleak. All right.
Sorry,
Don't
Zab, yeah.
sift through them and
But
give us the bad
I
ones.
just went off one in a row.
Curtis.
What have we got here?
I've never even heard of the bloke.
Oh, Carl Granderson, defensive end for the New Orleans Saints.
Oh,
Although
yeah.
he is about 35 years old, so I'm going to predict his output's starting to drop.
It's a nice looking card.
It is
though.
a nice card. Oh, you know what? I thought this was like a Hall of Famer. I thought it was going to be like a guy who played in the 60s. But Carl Granderson, yeah, he's getting on a bit now. I'm not so sure about the defense in New Orleans, so I'm going to say Bleak. Sorry, Carl.
Whose
Good
turn?
player. He's a good player.
My
He is.
turn now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What is,
I actually got DJ Moore. Wouldn't believe it.
Oh, did you?
Bright or Bleak, is that the segment?
Sorry, I just want to correct myself. I thought Carl Granderson was 33. He's 28, so he might have a good year actually. Oh, you didn't know how old Granderson was? You didn't correct me. Don't give me that look.
Well,
Did you?
I didn't think he was 34.
Well, be honest. How old did you think Granderson was?
I thought he was about 31.
All right, thanks, mate. Who did you get? DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Bright or Bleak?
Bright.
Okay. You got to give a reason.
Oh, he's the only proven receiver at that franchise.
Roma Dunze.
He's not proven.
No, I'm just rattling them, going through my mind.
Colston Loveland.
Okay.
Rookie tight end.
And then they grabbed Luther Burden.
Yeah.
They're all young, either rookies or in their sophomore year or second year.
Yeah, you're right.
DJ's the only proven guy.
Yep. I don't mind that.
Alright, cool.
I had
Is
more.
Keenan Allen still a free agent?
He is, yes.
Wow. No takers for Keenan. Gee, they drop off quick.
I
Don't
reckon
they?
when we did our wide receiver tiers last year, I reckon I had DJ Moore in my top 10.
It wasn't as good last year. It took a while
No.
to get some chemistry, but okay. Predicting a bright
Okay,
year.
Dos, you can have. Do you want the shiny one?
Just,
Give him the shiny one. Who is it?
who have I got here? I can't even read
On the
it.
back.
Carl Granderson too.
Dennis Gardeck.
Oh, Arizona Cardinals, the
Yeah.
Viking.
Yeah.
You know what? He should have been in the hipster team of the year last year, Dos. Gardeck had a couple of games where he went off. I reckon he had a 3.5 sack game, and he got some votes in our MVP award. Sorry to steal your thunder on Gardeck.
No, you're right. Bright.
Yeah, you like DG?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
You've got Leonard.
Noah Hill will like that one. He's a
Leonard Taylor III coming off a big 2023 season with 1 sack. I'm not sure how he went last.
There's a lot of.
LT3. What is this packet?
Yeah, I know.
I've saved some of the I've saved some of the better ones for
Hang on.
myself.
Leonard Taylor III. For those who aren't acquainted with his work from the New York Jets,
It's not a good pack. There are some rubbish players here.
Sports Card World, great place.
Oh, sorry.
Sometimes the packs you get aren't great, but that's the joy of
They
collecting.
didn't pack them. They're not a repacked pack out of
I don't know.
sports.
Can you
card.
check with Matty? Oh, he might be up to his old tricks. Taylor flashed a ton of potential in his 3 seasons playing for his hometown Hurricanes. What is? What is it?
Miami Hurricanes,
college.
buddy.
He was an absolute force on the interior while I was coming from left and right side. Yeah, okay. All right. You keep going. I'm going to look up what LT3 did in his rookie year because I'm going to be honest, I didn't hear much about old Leonard Taylor
No,
III.
it's quiet.
Okay, is
Go
that
on.
my turn?
Oh,
This might actually be the next best player we've got here, and that's Daniel Jones.
Oh, well,
Oh,
we'll say
okay.
it's bright.
Yeah, absolutely bright. If he takes over, if he starts and takes over, then I can see a bright. Oh, overall, it's probably Bleak still, but for him personally, playing will be bright.
All right, LT3, he was an undrafted free agent, so he's got a rookie card, so congrats to him in the Prestige pack. In 14 games last year, he had 1.5 sacks. So not a prominent player on the
you
defensive
look at
line.
the snap count.
Yeah, but well done. He's registered a sack. Didn't expect him to come up tonight, though, I must say.
No.
Okay,
I'm going to say bright.
Can you?
Dos. You can take that
So-
player.
So last week,
Dos did it fairly last week. I like this. So who have you
yeah.
got?
So Jacoby Brissett. Now,
I've got a better one for you.
Oh, do you?
A much better one for you.
so we're getting a whole lot of backups here. Where's Brissett?
So-
this
so
year?
hang
Because
on.
these are a year old.
But yeah, they are a year old. But the Prestige pack, in Prestige, can you get autos? It must be, because if you're getting players of this caliber, there must be some
good
huge
stuff
hits
as
in
well.
here. Yeah.
Um,
He's also
Go and get a Prestige hobby box from Sports Card World.
question without notice, and I'll admit I didn't know the answer to this. What team is Jacoby Brissett with now?
was
Don't
just-
look it up. Don't look it up.
No, well, I was just thinking that because he was with the Patriots last season.
Yeah, I didn't know where he'd ended up, but he is on an NFL roster.
No, he
and he's
is.
only 32.
He
oh, bright or Bleak, Dos.
no, well, it's
NFC
it's-
West.
It's Bleak. Oh,
Where is Jacoby?
he's in the West, is he?
NFC
NFC
West.
West.
Not the Rams.
Oh, Cardinals
Yeah, Cardinals.
There you go.
behind Kyler.
Yep.
Here's a chance. Okay, Curtis. There you go, mate. See how this guy's season's going to go.
Oh no, Is that who I thought it was? A Ravens kicker. Not good.
Justin Tucker.
It's looking bleak.
It's pretty bleak. I'm I might just chuck this one over to that.
Do you
this other room.
yeah, you can have this one instead.
It's not Deshaun Watson, is it?
It's not.
Terry and Arnold. Oh, thanks, mate. He had a very ordinary rookie season, if I'm not mistaken. Terry on.
Wasn't the best.
After being hyped up on stage in Detroit.
Well,
he might bounce
He was
back.
a first-round pick.
He was a first-round pick. He'll bounce back. I think there's bright things to come. He's got too much talent to have a second year like his first, boys.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky that I found Dalton Kincaid at the bottom of the pack.
Dalton.
So I had some good offensive players.
Dalton.
He actually wasn't very good last year, was he? 450 yards, only
he
2
fell off a
TDs.
touch.
He fell off a little.
Played his role.
He played his role. I'm expecting a little bit of a bounce back this year.
I think they
I'll go
might be
Bright.
thinking the same thing as well in Buffalo,
I
Corley.
think so.
All right.
There you
Terry
go.
and Arnold, by the way, my instinct was right. 179th out of 222 cornerbacks on PFF.
Yeah, he didn't have a great year.
Didn't go well, but
We got
he'll
another
be
pack to go tonight, don't we?
We'll do that next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to for
You know
everybody.
what? I like this segment though, and Chris has earned distribution duties for the next couple of weeks.
Something to do.
All right, we'll be back. We always welcome feedback on the segments as well. So on our Instagram, Outback QB Podcast, send us a message or podcast@outbackqb.com if you want to email, podcast@outbackqb.com. Got some feedback from Phil the Viking during the week. He was not happy with my take on the Vikings. What's the word I'm looking for? Not receding, declining this year. I said that they would have a big drop off and he wasn't happy. He thinks they'll be very good with JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, we all went the under. I think we all go the
Yeah,
under.
but Phil, it was a good discussion with Phil. We always get some feedback from our ardent listeners, of which he is certainly
Well,
one.
in
Now,
his defense, the last time a quarterback took over a team with this much talent as a rookie, let's call JJ a rookie, was probably Patrick Mahomes.
oh,
Correct?
what do you call him? The flopping flog.
The fluffing flog.
Yep.
So if we can see something similar to that, then there's no reason JJ can't excel.
Oh, sorry, you're saying the roster has that much talent, not the player.
Yeah, I mean, he rolled into an Alex Smith-led team, which was a pretty decent team, takes over it. I mean, he's doing the same. JJ's doing the same.
It seems a little dismissive of Mahomes' first year abilities.
Well,
It wasn't all just the roster. I mean,
He's
Mahomes
always-
was quite
Mahomes
exceptional.
has always had a very good roster to play with.
Well,
Well, we
it's
look
been
at
it's been good. It's
Look at
but
Brock
it's been
Purdy.
notoriously undermanned at wide receiver for the last 5 years.
oh, mate, you've got maybe the best tight end to ever play football.
Yeah, who you said was over the hill and absolutely washed all year last
Yeah,
year.
he was. And look at them. They got blown out. Lucky to win
They
15
made the
games
Super
last
Bowl.
year. Oh, it's the same as Brock Purdy. You know, he has 1 year.
Talking about.
He has a year last year where all of his weapons are injured, and all of a sudden,
And he was injured too, by the way.
all of a sudden, he's just a mid guy again.
Oh,
What do
man.
you mean again?
Well, he got drafted as a mid guy. He got drafted as a
He
late
got
guy.
drafted as the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, so he was less than a mid guy. Anyway, Phil, I think I went unders last year, but I see where you're coming from, and JJ could still have a very, very good year with these weapons.
You might be right. And I like the Vikings. They're a team that I like, a franchise that I like. I hope they go well. I'm just being honest. All right, strength of schedule. Last seg for the night. Dos, you got about, let's work through this in 8 to 10. We'll
Yeah,
wrap it up
that'd
with
be
joke of the
alright.
week and let's go home. Let's get Hawley some KFC.
Now, we're not going to talk about...
Not a sponsor of the show, by the way.
I'm not getting KFC, by the way. I'm fit and healthy.
quality product. Now, I won't go through the win totals, the easiest strength of schedule based on the wins. People can look that up for themselves. That's fine.
Sure.
What we want to look at here is the rest disparity.
I mean, they can look anything up, Dos. If
Well,
that was the philosophy, we wouldn't have a show.
No,
but
I
I
know-
see your point.
I know that, but
We're going to look up the real good stuff.
that's been posted on a lot of socials.
Yeah, I mean, they can
also.
also look up Brittany Mahomes later as
Yeah, they
well.
can, if you want
they
to.
would like
You know what? I've
Go
got
ahead.
5 to 10 minutes spare. I'll do it now. You know what? And if I'll turn it around to the camera if I find something good.
You crack on there, Dos.
I can't. All right.
You've laughed a lot this episode, haven't you?
It's been a funny
I've never
episode.
seen him cry so much. in my
Oh,
life.
it's been funny.
You cried less at
Ah,
your wedding.
All right.
It's all good.
The Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Number 1 this season for rest advantage plus 13 days over their opposition. And I'm going to talk a little bit more as to how many games that equates to. The Raiders have the largest disadvantage, minus 19 days. compared to their opposition.
So that is, if you add up across the whole season, the gaps between their games against
Their
the teams they're
opponent.
playing against. So
Yep.
so say the Raiders play the Bills have a 2-day break. The Bills have a 4-day break. The
Yep.
Raiders have a 3-day break. It's not very realistic, but whatever.
Yep.
So the Bills go up by 1 then.
Correct.
And the Raiders are -1.
Correct.
Okay.
So the Raiders have just been smashed. Now, last year, the team that had the greatest rest advantage was the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
They had 16 days. That was actually the largest in NFL history, by the way, since I've been tracking this. And the team that had the worst rest disadvantage last year was the San Francisco 49ers, -21 days. Didn't work out well for
They
them.
got banged up.
Yeah, it did. And the other teams,
So who had the best last year?
Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
16 days. Had the best rest advantage. Last season, the other teams that were smashed were the Colts, -17,
Mhm.
Seahawks, Saints, neither of which made playoffs. The Broncos also had -17. They did make it. And then the Chargers at -10.
Well, there are some teams that are good and some teams that are bad too. I mean, we can't dismiss that.
There are, of course. And this season, there are 3 teams that play 6 of their games with a rest advantage over their opposition. That is the Lions, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. The Lions have got 8 games next season, which is almost half of their schedule, where they will have a rest advantage over their opposition.
It's funny you say advantage.
Hmm.
South Australians normally say advantage.
Oh, sorry.
Advantage.
What do you say? Advantage or advantage?
That's an advantage.
Yeah. There you go.
Advantage.
That's all right. Mix it up. Make our
Mix it up.
Eastern Seaboard listeners feel comfortable.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. Eagles have got 6, and the Cowboys have 6 as well. And there are 3 teams that play no more than 1 game with a rest advantage. The Titans,
Ooh.
the Colts,
Oh.
and the Raiders.
Oh boy.
Now, at least with the Titans and Colts, with the 1 game that they get a rest advantage, it's 7 days. The Raiders, their rest advantage is 1 day.
Oh boy.
That's it. That's all they got. And only the 49ers last season had worse than that in history. The Lions are the first team in NFL history to play 5 opponents off a Monday night football game. Now, why does that matter? Well, because the last 2 seasons, they've done that 8 times, and they've got a 6-2 record against those.
So they're playing
those
tired
teams.
boys.
Aha, you got it, Curdy. Now, the other team that has got a nice little rest advantage, and their line has actually jumped up by 1 win in Vegas since this has come out, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. They have gone from a 7.5 wins to now 8.5 win line.
Okay.
Now, the reason for that is because they only play 1 game next season where their opponent has more rest days than them. It's a home game for them, and it's against the Texans in week 7. They've got 5 opponents coming off a short week,
Yep.
which is tied with the Lions in the league, and they only have 1 short week road game. So that's where you go on the road and you have less rest than your opposition. And that's against the Cardinals, division rival, and they avoid the dreaded 3 games in 10 days or 4 games in 17 days.
Across Christmas.
Yeah, which
Okay.
teams got smacked by last year.
All right.
There's only 3 teams that have got the 4 games in 17 days this year.
Yep.
Cincinnati is 1, Green Bay is another, and the Cowboys are another. And that is the Monday, Sunday into the Thursday. And all 3 of those are playing on Thanksgiving. So that's why.
Well, that's what you get for primetime slots sometimes.
that-
You got to
that's what you get. And the
the
Cowboys.
rainbows. You got to put up with the rain, Doss.
That's right. This is funny because
Chris is not listening.
the cow. That's all right.
Listen.
The-
I mean,
that-
I have to. It's,
That's all right. So that's
Headphones.
in terms of the rest advantage. Now, 3 teams with 3 straight road games this season, Curt.
Yep.
With no buys. So not like a,
Okay.
away. Yeah.
In the consecutive weeks.
That's right.
Go on.
Ravens have got it,
Yep.
weeks 9, 10, 11. The Patriots have got it, 5, 6, and 7. And the Titans have got it in 4, 5, and 6. The first 2 games on the road are the Panthers. First 2 teams that have got their first 2 games on the road are the Panthers, Giants, 49ers, and Buccaneers.
Starting to lose track, Doss. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. And let's just finish on here with the fantasy football impact. So we look at
He's back. He's back.
we look at bye
Like a
weeks.
dog whistle.
We look at bye weeks. So week 8 has the most teams on a bye, right?
Yep.
That is Tampa, the Cardinals, Jags, Lions, Raiders, and Seahawks.
It's a lot.
So you got 6 teams. It's not as bad, though. The spread of it this year is much more even. Last year was...
It was cooked last year.
Yeah, last year was bad. So week 13, there are no buys. Now week 14, which is the first round of fantasy playoffs. These are the 4 teams that have got the bye for that week. Make note of it. The 49ers, the Giants, the Panthers, and the Patriots.
Why is that significant?
Because that's your first week of playoffs in fantasy
How many weeks
football.
do we play in the NFL? I know how many games we play, but how many weeks are there?
Well, week 14 is typically in the NFL, that's your first week of playoffs in fantasy football.
No, not anymore.
It was when there was 16
Yeah, it's changed.
games, but now there's 17.
We
so
go
week
15, 16, 17 now.
We'll go 15 and 16. You don't do the last week of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but there's 18 weeks.
So there's 18.
Playoffs
That's
are
why I
now
said-
15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 14 is not playoffs anymore.
You sure it's not the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah. Because if there's 18 weeks, then you don't play in the 18th week.
Yeah.
Your finals on the 17th week.
And there's
So
only
when there used to be
3 rounds.
17 weeks and only 16 games or whatever, you wouldn't play playoffs
Oh,
in the 17th
okay.
week because guys,
Some formats, it's still
rarely.
it's
Yeah,
still a
if
thing, but otherwise it's the final week of your regular
some
season.
some
then.
will play 2-week playoff.
Yeah, okay.
Public announcement. If your commissioner has scheduled playoffs for a week where there are buys, you need to sack your commissioner.
Or some leagues, I'm in a league where the playoffs run over 2 weeks. So I'll play you this week and then I'll play you again next week.
Oh,
And then the winner goes
away
through.
goals.
Yeah. So last year it happened. I think it happened to Quag last year. He was well and truly,
That's pathetic.
he was high up on the ladder all year. And then he had guys in week 14 who were on bye and he lost his playoff game because of it.
That is terrible.
I think it was Quag. It was either Quag or Whitey, one of the two.
So it can happen. There's some schedules like that. Now, in terms of
Last fun fact, Dos.
last fun fact. So strength of schedule when it comes to rushing next season. So for the second season in a row, the Atlanta Falcons own the easiest rushing schedule for fantasy football. And Bijan Robinson, well, he took full advantage of that last season. He was RB4 in total fantasy points, I think. All
Sounds
up.
about right.
So they've got the easiest schedule again. And for passing this season, easiest schedule, the 49ers. So look for 49ers wide
big
receivers.
boy Brock.
Brock Purdy and 49ers wide receivers. The toughest for passing is the Chargers. And I'll just read it. The toughest for rushing is the Cincinnati Bengals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the LA Chargers have got the hardest in terms of run defense to face
Alright.
from a fantasy perspective.
So if you're a betting man, which
Yep.
teams, like you mentioned, Seahawks have gained a little traction on Vegas.
They have
Who's lost a little?
the Raiders, the Saints, and the Commanders have, in their rest disparity, have been smashed a little bit. The Commanders have got 8 standalone games, which is a record, but yeah, because of that, they've
And who are your top 3 then?
by rest.
Obviously Seahawks.
Yeah, so Seahawks done well, the Lions, the Miami Dolphins
My boys.
have a nice little, and the 49ers have done very well. The 49ers went from the toughest last year to the easiest in 2025.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Speaking of tough. Well done, Dos. Good
You're
summary.
welcome.
Here it is. What do you call an old snowman? Water. Oh. Come on, man. It's my one thing I had to do, and you had to ruin it.
Oh. Gotta be more original. Go on.
I
Go
hadn't
again.
heard that one before.
It's easy to guess, to be honest.
All right, then. Well, you might get this one as well. Which superhero hits the most home runs?
Batman.
Yes, Dos. At Batman.
At Batman.
Go on.
What else you got,
Keep
boss?
Ah, okay. What do you call a guy with a rubber toe? Roberto. Come on, it wasn't too bad. On short notice.
I don't think you even believe in that one.
On short notice.
short notice.
He's down to the 3rd in the depth chart.
All right.
Well, what kind of music do mummies listen to, Dos? Rap music.
Yeah.
Better?
It's not even a laugh. It was a yes. He said yeah. Well, we won't have to leave.
Uh,
We're fading that out, are we?
yeah, right. had 4 cracks at it.
It was a good show, boys.
Jeez Louise.
Look,
A lot of laughter.
we went up and down and around and around. We had
This is
some
what
risque
happens
humor.
in mid-May.
That's great. I love these sorts of shows. And especially when the planned funny bit is the least funny bit of the show, it's even better.
Oh gosh. All right, what are we doing now? Running back tiers for
Oh yeah, mini pod. Yeah,
Mini pod.
let's ruin all the magic. We'll see you next week.
See you, fellas. Good to see you again as usual. Can't wait for next week.